All pleasantries shared. Welcome to our fifth session together. First week in person, the 4 weeks after online. We did our unit 1 substantive discussion on types of linguistic expressions, sentences that shape our thoughts. We saw why critical thinking is necessary and why we have to even start with that kind of content on language and its use. We saw unit 2, which engaged definitions, making meaning to our audience and to ourselves. Which type of definition to call for and why that type, for what reason. So I think if we sum it up, we saw that sometimes it will help to give a pictorial representation of what we are putting across and point to it to give meaning. So let's say someone who is having a lung issue and won't listen to us, still smoking, still drinking a lot. You may want to show him ostensibly what the implications are to his lung as he drinks. So you may point to a rotten lung to show him that this is where you are getting to. You don't stop this consistent drinking. So perhaps that would be more meaningful than if you are just giving all the theoretical lessons. So that's just an example. If you want to teach the child how to do brush their teeth appropriately, a pediatrician or a dentist, we learned why you may want to go operational and mix it up with a bit of ostensive whilst pointing to the lexicon. And then sometimes you stipulate, you agree to use the word in a certain way. The word may have a generic meaning, but you may want to use it in a certain way with your audience. So it can be catchy and easily accessible. So you may say, oh, when I say COVID-19, I mean, think of something like Qatar. Okay, so you are stipulating that meaning to make for easy referencing and easy focus. Okay, that's stipulated. We learned all that in unit 2, and it showed us how we may be equivocating, maybe oscillating from one of the meanings of the word to the other, suggesting that they mean the same, when in fact the meaning has shifted. It's just the same word being repeated, but what it means might have shifted. And we saw some others. So in this unit 3, we are going to engage more of what? Verbal, like disputes that can be labeled as verbal, and those that we can label as what? Substantive. The rationale is to help you distinguish. Okay, I think this is a good content. It will help you to work with that. And so I'm ready to have one of you read it for unit 3. It's a build-up of the language bit before we get to unit 5, which deals with the normative and the empirical. I would call on let's have Irene Ajiman read for us. John Michael will be on standby. Irene, go ahead.
Yes, madam. Lecture 3. Correcting or resolving linguistic and or normative disputes. Ambiguity, equivocation, vagueness, verbal disputes versus substantive disagreements.
Great, please go ahead, Irene.
Correcting ambiguity, vagueness, and equivocation. Illustration of ambiguity, that is the 6 senses of law. Yeah. Verbal versus substantive disagreement. Exercise drills, identifying types of discourses. Exercise drills, arguments, premises, and conclusions.
Very good. Don't worry about the substantive. From the word substance. So you want to say substance, and when you get to the C bit, then you make it tape. So substantive. That's fine. You read very well.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the outline, for unit 3. The things we want to cover. We will not rush it at all. But by the time we finish, you will see that we would have touched on these concepts. because we want you to know that ambiguity, vagueness, and equivocation are not labels to be proud of. You shouldn't be proud of yourself when we say you are being ambiguous, or you are being vague, or you are being equivocal. These are not positive linguistic uses. And so we want to prompt, we are showing you those labels only so that you will correct it, not that you go and be ambiguous in your prescription, say to the patient. Your prescription must be clear. You cannot equivocate your diet. You can't tell the nurse, for example, that, oh, give her the transfusion soon. What is soon? Can you put some specificity to what you are saying? Because that can kill the patient. When should we do the blood transfusion? When should we set her up for the CS? You say, oh, don't worry, I'll call you soon. What is soon? In the next hour or so, she should be set up. It's clear, clarity. So vagueness is not something we want to entertain around a delicate discipline like yours. We want to see what these are. Diagnosing ambiguity. Irene, read a little bit more, then we can pass on to some.
Yes, ma'am. Diagnosing ambiguity. When a statement is made, but that one statement can have two different meanings, and the intended meaning is not clear from the statement, it is criticized as ambiguous.
Very good. Very good. So the person said only one thing, but that one thing that he or she said can have more than one meaning. It can mean A, and it can also mean B. The statement is one. But that one thing that the person said can be interpreted as A. The same thing can also be interpreted as B. Both apply, yet the way the person spoke doesn't clarify which of the intended meaning is at play. When you do that, we say there is ambi. Ambi means two. It's ambiguous. So I can hear it my way, I'm correct. You can also hear what the person said your way, you're also correct. And we all go home saying that that is what the person said. And it is the person's fault because he was ambiguous. I want you to compare that to equivocation. We'll see that shortly. Equivocation, like we saw in Unit 2, is not necessarily ambiguity. Okay. Equivocation is moving from one of the meanings of the word to the other. We'll see it again, so maybe not to go ahead of myself. Let's read some ambiguous expressions. Thank you, my dear Irene. Let someone else continue for us. Yebo, please go ahead. Jocelyn, be on standby, okay?
Okay, examples of ambiguity. I have always wanted to apply for leave to take a course in critical thinking, and now I finally have.
Please read the next one. When you finish, I'll explain. Okay.
Okay. Angry goat injures farmer with cutlass. Disappearing into a hole, I saw a mouse. Free turkey.
Very good. Also well read. Now, we are criticizing these expressions for being ambiguous. There is an ambiguity there. What do we mean? You will see that I've even underlined the source of ambiguity in each case. That is the expression or the phrase which is generating the ambiguity, the double interpretation, the double reading. There's a phrase or a word that generates the ambiguity. Okay. Now the first one says, I've always wanted to apply for leave to take a course in critical thinking. And now I finally have. Our question is, and now I finally have done what? What have you finally done? Have you finally applied for the leave? Waiting to take the course? Because if you say, and now I finally have, you could mean that now I finally have done the application for the leave. Or do you mean, and now I finally have applied for the leave, and I have taken the course in critical thinking, 2 in 1. Both meanings apply. So if you don't ask for clarity, or you don't ask the person to clarify, the person says, Mommy, I have always wanted to apply to the medical school to do dentistry. And now I finally have. I finally have done what? You see, is it that I now have applied to the medical school, but I didn't get dentistry, so I'm doing gynecology, for example. Or that I have applied and I've also gotten the dentistry that I intended to do. And now I finally have this ambiguous. The second one says, angry goat injures farmer with cutlass. And I'm sure that one is obvious. Is it that the goat was holding the cutlass and injured the farmer? The one that oftentimes is unintended unless you watch African movies. My own Kuma will included, and Nigerian ones. See the woman, the goat coming with the cutlass, holding the cutlass. Is it that it is the goat that was holding the cutlass and injured the poor farmer standing somewhere? Or that the farmer was holding the cutlass standing there, and then the angry goat hit him to injure him? Which of them? The ambiguity is in the way we are using weight. You know, sometimes advertisers do that to draw your attention. Okay? When we see equivocation, we see that sometimes the rappers, those who rap, are equivocal intentionally, and we enjoy that that equivocation. But it is not something to be proud of, especially when there is a discourse like yours, like the legal setting, and we are discussing. You cannot go be ambiguous there. Be clear so that we will know exactly what you are saying and move on with you. Okay. This one says, disappearing into a hole, I saw a mouse. I'm sure you can tell what ambiguity is. Is it that I, the human person, whilst disappearing into the hole, like the one at Spintex, that underground there, whilst disappearing into that hole, I saw a mouse? Or while the mouse was disappearing into a hole, I saw it. That is not clear. So there are at least two interpretations we can give to that. Both apply. And then the very last one, which is very clear, an ambiguity. And I want you to tell me what meaning you can give to the expression free techie. So you may want to raise your hand. Very good. We have a 38 class, member class. Excellent. I see 4 hands. Very good. Very active class. Keep it up. Several interpretations you can give to free techie. Maybe I take Pamela Cranchi first.
Madam, please, the free techie means have plenty meanings, and like 2 of them are maybe free techie means like they're sharing free techie means or free techie.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I like. Like
and then free
find it in
techie
front of your heart. Yes. Yes, free techie means
for the second one.
Exactly. What about the second one?
Yeah, like free the country techie.
Excellent. Well done.
Yeah.
That the country techie is in trouble. God set them free. I was told that there was another earthquake, but thankfully there were no casualties. And when they said that, it means there were no human deaths. But as for your money, that was in your drawer there, your gold or something that has been mixed up in that matter. It doesn't come up. It's very sad. So someone may be praying and say, God, free Turkey. Free. It has nothing to do with meat, the turkey meat. It could also be set the fowl turkey free from the henko or the turkey, whatever it is, because it has been in the cook for so long. Such is let it go jumping around a bit. In the evening, it can always come back. You may be saying that. One expression, look at the different meanings everyone can give to it, and they all apply, and it is not clear which of the meanings one has when you just see free turkey. That's what we mean when we say an expression is ambiguous. I think the class has done some reading, and it's very good. Keep it up. So we are going on. So now on our screen, students cook and serve grandparents. You see, I credit my colleague there. That's an example, a slide from my colleague. Students cook and serve grandparents. Tell me the ambiguity, the first, the supposed meaning, and then second, in other words, the one that may be the likely intended meaning. And then the second one that could also be a meaning that should. I'll take Priscilla Boateng now. Priscilla, go ahead. I saw all the hands saying Elvis Owusu, Emmanuel Teria, Irene Ajimai, Apina Ichiahine. I see all of your hands. There were 8 of them. Catherine, I see you. Just so you know that I'm making a note of them. Go ahead, Priscilla.
Hello.
Okay, Priscilla, so go ahead.
Okay, so the intended meaning, the students are cooking and like serving food to their grandparents.
Very good. What could also be the meaning that one can read into it?
Well, it's one could also say that maybe that the grandparents are what they are cooking.
You cut grandpa's thigh and grandma's cheek and put onga spice on it and put on fire. Because they are cooking literally grandma and grandpa at the meat in the pupunsu that they are preparing. That could be what someone else could read into it. And the person will not be wrong because of how, the one speaking spoke. And you can see that is a newspaper headline, cut directly from the intended to catch attention sometimes. Students cook and serve grandparents. You will go and watch. If you were passing by, you go and come back and say, what? Before you look closely. So sometimes it is used as an advertising tool, but not for you medical folks. You can't joke around like that. Okay. So students cook and serve grandparents. Your friend says it could mean that students cooked food, a meal, and then served it to their grandparents who ate that meal. Clarity. Or it could also mean students, like happened in the Bible, there wasn't enough food. So grandpa and grandma have lived their life. They cut them into pieces so that they can boil, add some lemongrass to it, and it becomes a full meal for them to eat. I think there is no qualms about that. That's ambiguity expressed. Let's look at I think there are 3 ambiguities on the screen, 3 expressions that are ambiguous. The San Jose cops kill man with knife has the same format like the earlier one that we discussed. Okay, so I want to believe that you see the source of ambiguity, the weight. It's just like the angry goat injures farmer with cutlass. It's the way I'm using weight. Am I saying the cops killed a man who was holding a knife? Was I say San Jose cops kill man with knife? Did the man with the knife that was killed by the cops, or that the cops did a killing of the man with a knife? See the difference? San Jose cops kill man with knife. Is it that the cops had to kill the man in self-defense? Maybe they did so using a knife, or that the man was wielding a knife, and it is this man who was wielding a knife that had been killed by the cops, perhaps using a gun or something. That clarity is not there. And the source of ambiguity is in the way we are using weight. Why are we learning ambiguity? Imagine you write a prescription or you diagnose a condition during your counseling session with a couple who want to make babies, and you are so ambiguous and equivocal that the people go home thinking that they had this when you actually intended to say something else. It can have dire consequences. So we want to help ourselves. Make a note of that for our everyday discourse, and most importantly, delivering our content to our patients. So slow children crossing. When I read it, I put emphasis on something so it helps you. But it could be slow children crossing, or slow children crossing. Children who are slow are crossing, or slow down, children are crossing. Which one is here? There's another funny one in a slide I saw. It says, when your dog, sorry, no had lunch. When your dog poos, put it in a bin. Of course, you understand poo. Okay, so when you apologize, when your dog poos, put it in a bin. Can you see an ambiguity in it? Let me see. Raise your hand if you do. If your dog poos, very good. I see 3 hands now. Very good. Now 5. If your dog poos, put it in a bin. What's the source of ambiguity? 7 hands. Very good. I see Felicity as always, Irene, John, Chrysla, Maureen. Very good. Nana Kofi, Sekufo, Timakom. Very good. Those are 13 hands now. Okay, Neza, go ahead. Tamosoa. I see all the hands up there. Neza, what is the source of ambiguity? Or explain the 2 ways you can understand it. So that is what we mean when we say disambiguate. Open it out. Let us see the 2 interpretations, if you like, you can give. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Hello.
Yes, it's better now. Go ahead.
Yeah. What exactly are we putting in the bin? Is it the
Very
dog
good.
or the other
Is it the dog or its food? The source of ambiguity then is the it. When your dog poos, put it in a bin. What is the it that should be put in the bin? We think the obvious is put the poo. Nobody wants the poo. But it could be the dog. It could be that you're saying there's a new mechanism. If you put the dog in the bin, oh my, it will never poo again. So that's the ambiguity. The source of ambiguity is the it. Now we continue with what we have on our slide. Thank you so much. This one says, oh dear. This one says, the very, very pathetic one. It's almost pathetic. I like to show you the implications. This is a church. You can see that it is in front of a church. To the left now, not the slow children crossing, but the left side. So let's clarify. Can I have one of you read it? Can you show me whether it's ambiguous and the possible interpretations of ambiguity you can have? There we go again. I see all hands are almost 14 hands. Well, very good. Maureen, you want to read for me? Then I can ask Flossie Ano to disambiguate for us. Very good. Very impressive. Eh?
We love hurting people.
Yo, this is in front of St. Martha's Episcopal Church. Oh, St. Martha. In front of St. Martha's Episcopal Church is the inscription, "We love hurting people." That is ambiguous and very troubling. If you are the church administrator, you are in big trouble. You can't do that because someone can take the church to court and reference what you have put there and say that is what they do there. They themselves, they have issued a disclaimer that here all we do is we love hurting people. Jocelyn, give me one interpretation, then Flossie will do the other so that the 2 of you disambiguate together.
Please, like they like to hurt people, like they do it on purpose.
Very good. They like to hurt people. That's the first interpretation you can give. It applies. If we read what is there, we can interpret it to mean the church people say they have taken degree in hurting people. It's unintended, though, but that is what it could mean. You can't, begrudge the one who holds that view of the church when he reads what is there. Thank you so much. Rosie, what do you think the other one, possibly the intended meaning would be?
Please, might also think we love hurting people, like I think you love people who are hurting.
Very good. We love people who are hurting. People that are, street children, someone that has been raped, a woman whose husband is not taking care of her, or a man whose wife is beating him and he can't tell anyone, someone with school fees issues, no family in the cold streets, So we love people who are hurting, could be what the church means. Or we love to hurt people. When you bring your money, you collect all, you go, you can't pay your children's school. That's what we do here. This is in front of the church. You can see it's ambiguous, has to be corrected so that the clear meaning that you have should be put there. So if we want it to be catchy, we can tell you, we love those who are hurting. Come all ye that are weary and heavy laden, give you rest. Say that. But what you have put there, dear, church admin, are in serious trouble. I think that is clear enough. So we move on quickly to, you see the free turkey is at the extreme right there. We have dealt with it. So we won't worry our head too much. But the other one up there, if you haven't prayed today, don't read that one. Let's have Timakom read that. And then I'll ask Elvis Owusu to give me one of the ambiguated forms, and then Felicity will do the other one. Tim, read for me.
All right. And then please the statement. Priest marries his son.
Very good. Priest marries his own son. Is that ambiguous? Yes, it is. It is, papa. If you yourself or myself, if we were passing by the newspaper stand and we saw this, we'll go, if we are very inquisitive and we try to be for our own sake, we'll go forward 2 steps and come back and say, hey, am I reading right? Especially if it comes with a name, say a priest, you know. Ghana, one of our fine priests is, I think he's now Archbishop Pamabaka or something like that. Okay. So suppose you put the name there, priest so and so and so and so marries his own son. We'll go forward and come back. First of all, he's a priest. Wait, you know, because there's an ambiguity there. What's the first interpretation you could give? Say first, and then I'll take Felicity. Elvis. Elvis, please speak loudly so we can hear you. Go ahead. I can't hear you. I see your mic is unmuted, but I cannot hear you. Elvis Owusu. So one of the interpretations is what? Oh dear. Okay, let's take Felicity then.
So from the statement, you would think that the priest actually married his own son.
Meaning, what you have said is still ambiguous.
As in, he wedded his own son. So now they're a couple.
Very good. What you have added is what takes away the ambiguity. So the priest is now the wife or husband to his son. Finito. That's the first interpretation you can give, the one that causes our hairs to rise. All of us are, you know, which we want to believe will be the actual interpretation, will be what? Elvis, is it better now so that you have a say? If not, I take some more soa. Thank you, Felicity. Elvis, your mic is unmuted, but I can't hear. I don't know if it's a volume issue, so work on it. Okay, let's take some more soa. Samuel, go ahead.
Hello, madam.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Someone can hear you. Go ahead.
Priest marries his own son. It can also mean the priest, like, brings his son into marriage.
Very good. So he gave his son away into marriage. Maybe even blessed their marriage. His son and the son's wife or the son's husband. Now we have to say that, right? He blessed them and they went away to go and get married. See how long the expression becomes. Sometimes people don't understand. When you have such an understanding of language, you have to clarify and clarify and clarify. Those who don't will be saying that, oh, but this thing, you said it already, just say it this way, let's go. This way is convoluted. When you say priest marries his own son, it could mean he became the wife to his son, or he became the husband to his son. That's one interpretation. Unholy as it may sound, it could be what the person is saying. Or that the priest blessed the marriage of his son and his son's wife, gave his son away into marriage. If you see that, then the exercise we've done together minutes ago is what we call disambiguating. Okay, we are opening the expression out to show the meanings that we can get from that one expression, so that sometimes we are able to tell this could be the possible intended meaning. And this is an unintended meaning, perhaps, but still a meaning that we can read into the expression. Okay. If you got that, then we are done with ambiguity, which is one of the vices, the wrong uses of language. When we speak, we want clarity. Don't speak in a way that is very clear, yes, by points to two meanings. And it is not clear in how it's spoken, which of the two meanings applies. When you do that, you create confusion in the minds of people. Now to the second, unless there's a question, let me give room for that. There's a question I want to address that. So let
Hello,
me
madam.
lower all hands. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Is it Emmanuel Teria
Sorry,
or Elvis?
sorry for it's Emmanuel Teria. Sorry for interrupting, but
No, it's
Elvis
not it.
is by me, and his
No
phone is
problem.
giving him some issues. That's why I
No
just wanted
problem
to
at all.
let you
So
know.
that's fine. Thank you so much. But so he's benefiting from the discussion. That is all I want.
Yes,
Thank
please.
you so much for the point. Okay. So we'll go on now. I lower all hands, and then just in case there's a question, then. But I think I like the class. I hope that you keep that. For this our fifth session together, and you try to keep a very active,
Madam,
even from a distance. If it doesn't change there, then it will show the way you are working. As some people start well, and somewhere in the middle they become the dabi. They are doing yawa. Yawa. And so Jeremy and Charleslyn, good effort so far. And let's hope that it goes like that to the end. Have a good time like I've had with all your predecessors in the past. Right. We want to move on now to equivocation,
hello,
unless
madam.
there's a question. Yes, sir. John Michael, go ahead.
Please, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Please, I wanted to ask about this statement, whether it's ambiguous or not. If somebody gives a statement like a priest married a couple, would you still say it's ambiguous?
A priest married who?
A couple.
Yes, it's still ambiguous. I hope you can see why. Is it that
Yes,
the
please.
priest
Yes, I
joined
just
the
wanted to
couple in there? So they are now threesome kind of, you see that? Or that he blessed her. So that's why I want to open it out and be explicit. Else it might be misinterpreted. Sometimes before you correct it, especially at the law court, you would have committed yourself and given evidence that can be used against you. Sometimes when people are going to be arrested, you know what the police or whoever is detective will say. Do not say anything. Because whatever you say now will be held against you. Because of the pressure of arrest, you could say things like, "Chef, they're coming to arrest me. Do you know who I am? Me. Nobody can arrest me in this nation. No law can arrest me." Things like that, out of the burden, the pressure of arrest can make you say things. Okay. So just in that way, at the law court, you want to be careful not to be ambiguous. You want to be careful not to be equivocal. There is an example in the critical thinking test. It says that stolen jewels discovered by tree. Stolen jewels discovered by tree. Do you see the ambiguity there? I see Amina and Chrislav's hand up. I'll take your question shortly. But do you see an ambiguity there? Stolen jewels discovered by tree. The source of ambiguity is what? What word or phrase is generating this ambiguity? I want a chorus answer.
By.
By. Well done. By.
Bye.
Yes, it's the by. Is it by as in next to the tree, or by as in the tree found the jewel? Like can happen in our Nigerian movies and Kumasi. The tree will be working at night. My children, my children, my children. Is it the tree that found the jewels, or the jewels were found next to the tree in the compound? If you are a detective writing the person's statement at the police station, don't assume it all, because he will write all that, and then when he gets to the law, he say me. So I said me. I said they found it in our compound. That's what you wrote in your statement. My lord, counsel, blah blah blah. If you look at this, he said me. What I said is that stolen jewels discovered by tree. By tree, I meant the tree found it. If you have any issue, go ask the tree. I'm going to tell them that that's not what he said. That's what he's written down. He said, oh, but that means that the jewels were found next to the tree. He said, me. I didn't mean that. I said the tree found it. I saw it in my dream. The tree went to find the jewels. Case has become foolish case. Ambiguity. You have to, as a critical mind, respectfully but assertively ask for clarity, because it could mean A and it could also mean B. I'm happy that you detected that. I still see someone always hand up. Someone, is there a question, please? Or you were reacting to my own?
Madam, please, I had one example for the ambiguity, and I wanted to get
Excellent. Go
right.
ahead. Go ahead. Add it.
Um, okay, the chicken is ready to eat.
Very good. You will find 1,001 of such examples. Are you saying that the chicken is now ready to receive the food that you are going to give to it to eat? Or you are saying the chicken meat, in other words, the chicken has been well prepared. Now it is well cooked, well spiced, tasty, ready for chops, so that human beings will go and eat that chicken. That's what your friend just showed. Very nice one. Okay. When you Google ambiguity, you find quite a number of them. There was one that I saw about bank, river bank, and what are they? I'll pull them out for you to see. Of our audience. But sometimes we use it to shroud our presentation. We'll learn that when we get to vagueness shortly. Okay. Now I want someone to read. We are shifting from ambiguity to equivocation. Can I have a reader? Very good. Very good. Okay, very participatory. So we'll take John Michael. Elwin, question, please be on standby for the next one. Go ahead, John.
Diagnosing equivocation. We call equivocation. If different connotations into the meanings of one word are used in the same context without notice to the audience, the speaker is accused of being equivocal or equivocation.
Very good. Thank you very much. I can even add another clause to make it even more explicit what equivocation is. So if different connotations, like your friend read, the word connotation just means different meanings of one word are used in the same context without notice to the audience. There comes my additional clause, suggesting that the meanings are the same, when in fact you have shifted from one of the meanings to the other. Okay, so you use different meanings of one word. The word is one, but that one word can stand for A, can also stand for B. So whenever you use it, you change or you shift from one meaning to the other. But you ultimately come back and conclude that the first meaning you used of the word and the second meaning of that same word are the same. How do? You do it in the way you are arguing. You argue as if those two meanings are the same, just because you repeated the word. We say you are being equivocal, equal, vocal, vocabulary, vocation. And so you are repeating the same word and making it look as if whenever you use that word repeatedly, the meaning associated with it was the same. That is equivocation. And when you are equivocal like that, you could create an ambiguity in the mind of your people. Let's have some examples to make the point. Please read for me, say Elwin. Example 1.
Noisy children are a real headache. 2 aspirin will make a headache go away. Therefore, 2 aspirin will make noisy children go away.
Noisy children are a real headache. I've credited my colleague there too. This is not my example. I borrowed it. Noisy children are a real headache. Oh, there'll be emphasis. But Martin. 2 aspirins will make a headache go away. 2 aspirins, think of aspirin as a painkiller. No. Noisy children. I'm sorry, people. So the first one says noisy children are a real headache. The equivocation is on the word headache. 2 aspirins will make a headache go away. Look at the sense in which we are using the word headache in the first statement, and the sense in which we are using the word headache in the second statement. And yet the person comes to conclude, therefore, 2 aspirins will make noisy children go away. That's the equivocation you're talking about. The person argues that, look, if you have noisy children, they are a real headache. They worry. That's the whole point. They worry. When we saw it when we did Unit 2, we saw that. They worry, they disturb. That's the sense in which we are using the word headache. The meaning, the connotation of headache you have in mind there is what? Worry, troublesome, a disturbance. Okay. But look at the second statement there. 2 aspirins will make a headache go away. This use of the word headache, 2 aspirin is a medication. We take it in for physical pain in the head, headache, not just headache as in troublemakers. They worry you, they don't give you a peace of mind, they are a nuisance. No, this second use is a physical pain in the head that requires painkiller. Now the person combines the 2 and comes to conclude, therefore, 2 aspirins will make noisy children go away. This is equivocation. The person has repeated the use of headache 2 different ways. One word, 2 different meanings. Whenever he used the word, the meaning shifted. It's oscillating, either swinging from one of the meanings to the other. Yet he wants to conclude as if the 2 meanings coincide. It says 2 aspirins make noisy children go away. This one, we detect it as well, an equivocation. I think it's clear now. Okay. The other ones are not too clear for me, so I won't use them. But look at the fourth one. Ghana is a free country, so we should feel free to come to work at any time. I hope you can see the equivocation there. Let me see if someone sees it. Ghana is a free country. Jeremy, you want to comment on that one, the example 4? I'm trying to find my colleague's examples. He has fine ones, so I'm pulling that slide to share with you. We'll go back. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Okay, madam, with this one, the word free.
Yes, very good. What are they?
Yeah, for the first side, it says Ghana is a free country. Meaning that it's we are no more colonized. That's what it means. And then so we should feel free.
I'm hungry there. You're hungry, pa. So we may be a free country without colonialism. I mean, we are not under curfew and all that. In that sense of it, we are not afraid of a bomb coming so that you can't even freely move around. That kind of free. So free here, what it connotes, it's not the same as the conclusion the person is drawing. That because of that, everybody should feel free to go to work the time that they want to go to work. No problem. How can that replace this one? You see that there's a challenge. If you come to my home and I tell you, my student, and I take you home for whatever reason, if you want to go and check something, and I tell you, feel free. Feel free. Don't interpret that feeling free to mean that you can go to my bedroom and be scouting through my husband's boxes. Who told you that? That is what I meant. When I said, oh, feel free, don't worry. Feel at home, feel free. As my student. That sense of free doesn't include like the president. I think I've had such examples in some of my recordings on the academic channel. You can engage it for your own edification if you want to. They are all there. Just look for the playlist and find discussions on lecture 3 or something like that. I said if the president was your roommate and he said you found him later, he said, oh, president, Mr. President, you can't make me out. Maybe at a function. Say, oh, you are maybe you were teaching him. but now he's the president and you are also president of your home. But if life didn't treat you well, so come and visit. So you go there and he's in his office. Gives you a seat. Remember, national security and everything reports to the chief executive of the land. Very pertinent matters. He says, oh, feel free. No, by the time the president returned from his washroom and came, you are opening documents. Hey, president, you are doing this, so all this is, you signed it. All over the place, feeling free. This free that they said feel free, did it include feeling free so much so as to go into the presidential cabinet there and start opening stuff? No, that's a different connotation of the word free. So we can mean free as in ability to do and free as in capable of doing. You are free to get up and slap your colleague in that order, but you are not free to do it. Another connotation, because there are rules. You are free to move around. This will lead us to empirical versus normative, and maybe subsequently. You are free to move around in Ghana, freedom of association, freedom of speech, but you can't go and open your mouth, apologies, jaga, and talk what you want in the name of I'm free. Because even though you are free, you are not free. Even though you are free to express yourself, you are not free to express treasonable stuff. Okay. So there is a connotation of free and another connotation of free that this speaker is confusing. Women are free to do what men do, but they are not free, sir. Because at the end of the month, when we have all gone to learn the calculus and we have to think and write, somebody naturally will go through something that obstructs their vision, their view. They can't even see. Red, it's called anti-red. So when people want to have, you see some fine examples like that, which have flesh, okay, that you can use, so that in your endeavors you don't equivocate. Equivocation is what I'm trying to show you with all those examples. I think the point is well made. I'm trying to pull out some examples for you that you will find very useful. Any questions on equivocation? Jeremy, thank you for the response. So that one is equivocal. I'll find some more examples of equivocation for you. One said, just a minute, it says, I want to find it for you. You'll love it. It said, mad people, Felicity, I'll take your question shortly. But it says, mad people must be institutionalized. And forgive me for the blatant use of the expression mad. We want you to capture a certain point. That's why. Mad people must be institutionalized. Okay, that's the first premise. Zainab is madly in love with Abu. Therefore, there comes the guy's conclusion. Therefore, Zainab must be institutionalized. That's equivocal. What word are we equivocating on? I want a chorus answer. Let me see if people are following.
Mad.
Mad.
Very good. Very good. So you are following.
Mad.
Point is, yes. Mad people must be institutionalized. Yes, you are the medical food. If the person is mentally sick, we have to institutionalize them before they go, throwing stones at people and killing people at circle. Then we come and cry on holy tears. The next day, the mad folks are still on the street. Okay. So because of that, we have to put them in an institution, give them the medication, restrict them a little until they are well. Treat them humanely, but keep them, in an institution. So that is not in contention. The second premise says Zainab is madly in love with Abu. Madly. So the person concludes that, hey, this mad has appeared here. This mad has appeared. No. And this Zainab must be institutionalized. That's equivocation. The last one. I'm still finding my own slide. The last one says, we are looking for a responsible person for this job. This is a job applicant receiving that information from the company that he or she has applied to. In this job, we are looking for those who are responsible to take up the role of the receptionist. He says, oh, responsible. You're looking for someone who is, but I'm the one. Because the previous company I was in before coming here, wrong. Whenever something got missing, I was responsible. I mean, very interesting example. So the word is responsible. The person is using responsible and repeating responsible. But whenever the person uses responsible, he's shifting from one of the meanings to the other, and yet, not just shifting, but yet making it look as if the meanings coincide. How? By the way he or she concludes. Okay, so the conclusion makes it look as if the first use of the word responsible is the same as the second use of the word responsible. I just managed to pull the slides I was looking for you. Just some more examples to show you equivocation. Okay. So the earlier example, some of them I have mentioned already. Sure, philosophy helps you argue better. But do we really need to encourage people to argue? There's enough hostility in this world. That's equivocation. Argue in the first sense of it. Philosophy helps you to argue better, to present evidence to support your claim in a better way. That's argument, technical. Just like inflation. When the economist is talking air into a balloon, that's what the decor lady was talking about. When she says inflate the balloons, we don't have time, inflate the balloons. She's using inflation, meaning different than when you talk about the inflation of the economy. Okay. So the philosophers claim that we help you argue better cannot be confused with the exchange of words or disputing, unnecessarily disputing and contention, which is unwarranted. That is argument in the negative sense of it. So the person is confusing the argument that philosophers help you make with argument, that is exchange of words, disputation, contention. So he's saying, sure, philosophy helps you argue better. But do we really need to encourage people to argue? There's enough hostility in this way. That's equivocation. That shifted from argue as in presenting evidence to support your claim to argue as in disputing or contention that is unwarranted. The same with ethical lapses. I just wanted to bring them some more examples from my colleague. Then ambiguity, I think I've showed you all. If your dog does a poo, please put it in a litter bin. You've seen that. A student cook and serve, all those ones are there. See these ones, we've done them. Okay. Some newspaper ambiguity. I don't think we should read all. Just prostitutes appeal to Pope. What do you think? Now I'm merging ambiguity and equivocation. What we see now is ambiguity. Prostitutes appeal to Pope. What do you think is the ambiguity there? Can someone disambiguate that for us? Another one says, minors refuse to work after death. Is it that when they finish dying, when they die, then they refuse to work? What's the other one? Kids make nutritious snacks. So let's do prostitutes appeal to Pope and kids make nutritious snacks. I'm going to my screen now to see whose hand is that. Hey, can you see my slide?
No.
Oh.
No.
No,
What kind of punishment is that? I was the only one enjoying it.
No.
Almost. I've not shared it. I'm just showing you. This is what I was referring to. I hope you can see it now.
Yes, madam.
Yes,
please. So the one I'm referring to is, look on your left, that one, prostitute appeal to Pope. That's ambiguous. And the right one, it says, kids, that's the last but two. Kids make nutritious snacks. Let's diagnose that, and I think we'll be so done. And we can move on. Let's do the left one first. Nana go picture. This guy. Which one are you doing?
Okay, please the last one.
Quiet.
All right. So the prostitutes appeal to Pope may
Yes.
mean that when the Pope sees like Ashawo, he's delighted.
And
And
what
then
have you prayed today?
it may also mean
And I'm not going to be, have you prayed today? It could
yeah.
also mean what? It could also mean that word.
It can also mean that they made an appeal to the Pope to do something for them, or
Beg the Pope to intervene on their behalf or something like that. That would normally be the intended meaning, unless people want to be unholy.
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now I see Samuel Soa and Felicity. Let's take Samuel Soa. Samuel, tell me what the other one is, and then I leave the rest.
Okay, so the kids make nutritious snacks. I would think that the first one would be as when you cook cake, they are very nutritious, they are very nice. Or when kids cook, their meals are very nice.
Very good. Do you even realize that the word kids could also mean the children of the baby goat?
Yeah.
So that are you even saying that the baby goat cooks nutritious snacks, or when you put the baby goat's meat into snacks, they are very delicious? Or you mean kids as the label some people give to their children, which I hate when I hear people call my children kids. I get so angry. It's just that it's not everywhere I'm able to express it. My children are not kids. My children are lambs or doves. Kids are the they don't have control. All right, so that could also be what the person meant. And you will see from the screen that we can have so many such ambiguous use of language or expressions that you are supposed to be able to fish out quickly. Don't assume, don't ever say, oh, but they couldn't mean this. It's not your place to say that. Yours is to see the possible interpretations that one expression could have. This is directly from the textbook, what you see now on the screen. It says, let's take example. I think the point is made. I'm just making some more examples to help you. Two sisters reunited after 18 years in market mall, market store. Is it ambiguous? No. Example 11. Two sisters reunited after 18 years in market store. If it is ambiguous, what are the two? Abinette, your hand was up earlier. This one is not too clear, or you want to try? Okay, let me go ahead. Yeah.
I want to try.
Yes, my lady.
The ambiguous meaning, it could mean that the two sisters reunited for the first time after 18 years in the market hall, or that
or the second one, which is that for 18 years they have been lost in the store. Alice in Wonderland.
Right.
Okay, very good. That is the point. Thank you so much, Amina. Now we can be very confident that we know ambiguity. We can distinguish that from equivocation. Some more. I wanted to find some more examples on equivocation. Let me see if I'll get more in this set of slides, just to help you understand. Here's the job applicant one, the one who says, oh, we are looking for a responsible person. Oh, then I'm the one. Because where I'm coming from, whenever something got missing, I was responsible. That is, as soon as that happened, we lost the job. We don't know that that's what. Okay, now we can move on to vagueness. Let me share my own slides now. Unless there's a question. Almost done, eh? Hold on just a little bit more. We'll finish shortly so you can rest. So we go now to vagueness, the third literary vice. No, that's not what I'm making. The one that we don't want you to commit. We don't want you to commit equivocation Don't want you to commit ambiguity. And now we want to add one more thing that we want you to avoid: vagueness. When you are vague, it simply means you are not clear in the use of language. You see, ambiguity and equivocation are all problematic. But for ambiguity, you are clear. Just that the clarity leads us to two meanings. They both apply. That's the sense in which we are saying it doesn't help us know which of the meanings are referring to. When you are equivocal, you are clear. The only thing is you are shifting from one meaning to the other and still making it look as if those two meanings coincide. Okay. But when you are vague, you are indeterminate. You are not specific. You are indefinite. There are 1,001 things that will apply and they will all be correct. If I tell you, give her the transfusion anytime soon, my sister, don't take that. Anytime soon can be 1 minute from the time I said it, or 100 million years from the time I said it. I've told students. Jesus said, behold, I come soon. Oh, sorry. Behold, I come soon. And he said that 2,000 years ago, intentionally vague, so that the Ishushinim people, like you and I, will not wait. When we know that he's coming tomorrow, then we get busy cleaning our house. We're speaking figuratively now. No, it says I'm coming soon. And soon can be now, tomorrow, or 100 years from now. So in the relationship, you ask the guy, so when are you doing the appropriate thing so that this thing will be formalized? And people are getting worried. They say, oh, don't worry, we'll do it soon. My sister, don't take it, because before you know it, soon you have all your 5 children delivered. You have been living for 36 years. It's still soon. And he hasn't lied to you. It is not determinate. When you see it in definitions, like the one I think we looked at that when we did definition. If we didn't, it's a good time to bring it. Democracy is freedom for all. Suppose that is how someone defined democracy, and you hear that a lot. Freedom for all. You don't understand democracy? Oh, it means freedom for all. That's how someone is defining democracy. That's vague. It's extremely vague. Freedom, Lankasa, is problematic. And all is worse. Freedom for all what? Animals, human beings, including suicide bombers, terrorists, non-nationals who don't have visa. They should all feel free to do what? What is free here? Prisoners should say, this morning we want to go jogging at Plaster, open the thing, we want to feel free. Freedom for all. You see, mosquitoes too should feel free. Why have you closed your door? It's so vague. That simply means extremely general, that it doesn't specify anything. Now, the example on your screen says, let someone read. I'll take a sip of water. Someone read that for me, please. Anybody? Okay, thank you, Abena Chiahene. I see someone, so I see Charles Lynn. So Abena, read for me, please.
Okay. Diagnosing vagueness.
Yes.
A word is vague when its intended meaning is... Hello?
I can hear you, Pa. Don't worry. Right.
Okay. A word is vague when its intended meaning is interdeterminate, into brackets, unclear. Examples. The provost said he will be here any moment from now. Example 2. Any graduate who is not finding a job is not looking hard enough.
Okay. Any moment from now is vague. The word is indeterminate, okay? Indeterminate. It's not looking hard enough. Any graduate who is not finding a job is not looking hard enough. What does it mean to look hard enough? That's the question. It's vague. It's not clear what you mean. Should they go and stand by that advert and look and look and look and keep looking till tomorrow morning? Or what? What does it mean to look hard? Put flesh to it so that people can know what they should do to get a job. But they can't get it. They don't create something. Then when the secretary tells you, oh, you'll be here any moment from now, that's not an answer. When should I come for my passport, please? Now that I've gone through all the process and paid for it, say, oh, any moment from now. You think it's a good answer? Respectfully and calmly, but assertively say, please, can you tell me when exactly you mean by any moment from now? Because that can mean 3 years after you apply for the passport. It's still any moment from that now. It's vague. I've asked some authorities here to confirm spaces for students who are going to write an I. I asked yesterday, please, can you confirm if we have the space? The response, oh, I'll do so soon. I said, my brother, this is your soon there. I don't like it. Then he started laughing because as at yesterday, until now, it's too soon. Behold, I come soon. I come soon. 2,000 years. People are tired. 5 virgins, their oil is finished because they understood soon the way they want. It was intentionally vague. I'm giving all those examples just to help you understand. Now, just a point of focus, and then I'll end. Something important to take note of, that as a critical mind, you want to be conscious of what? Intentionally vague, or if you like, purposefully vague or open-ended expression. It is intentionally so. That is the value of that expression. Expressions that are intentionally vague. Expressions like metaphorical statements, proverbial statements, idiomatic expression, figure of speech. What's the other one? All of them are intentionally vague, open-ended. They are supposed to mean several things to several people. That's their value. So you don't go critiquing a metaphor or a proverb that why what you are saying can mean several things. Yes, that is how it is packaged. It's intentionally open-ended. It says several things at a go. So one expression, if it's a proverb, could mean A, could also mean B, could mean C, could mean D. This one is not the one that you critique and say, oh, you are being vague, or you are being ambiguous, or you are being equivocal. No, 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 no. That is how they are. Their value is in their vagueness. Okay? And they have a purpose, which as a critical mind, you must know. So in your counseling, for example, maybe you are finished diagnosing this condition. You want to tell the couple that, look, this is the problem. You can just end with a proverbial expression. The hen also knows when the sun rises. I'm giving you some examples. Look on my screen. Oh, I didn't put it here. But it is the cock that crows. Let me find it. The hen also knows when the sun rises. But it is the cock that crows. When you say that to the couple, the man will go home believing that he won the case because he is the man. They say he should go. The woman will go home believing that she won the case. At long last, the man has been asked to stand up and do what he must do as a man. It is shrouded in an intentional vagueness, not clear, because a word to the wise is enough. No one can lick their elbow. If you hear that from an elderly person, he's not just speaking a literal expression, just like the hen too, not the one that does the cuckoo. He's speaking volumes. All what? Hidden in an expression. So metaphors, proverbs, idiomatic expression, he has kicked the bucket. It could mean literally that he's bathing and his leg hits the bucket. It could mean that he has done what? What's the alternative meaning? If you don't want to directly say he's dead. Oh, I've answered my question. Okay, so sometimes you may have to manage it. Grandma came in after you did the checks of the VP and stuff like, you say, oh, get her in the Philippines or something. By the time the attendant returned, she's gone. Then when the attendant opens your office door as consulting room, you are a professional. You know how to manage dead bodies, dead people. You open and say, oh, call the next person. Your grandma, she's dead. Call the next person, let him come. You will kill the girl too. You have to be a critical mind. Sometimes you will present the same thing. Oh, mommy, what do I need my help? That's fancy. Okay. Oh, grandpa has gone to the village. Before she will assimilate gone to the village, she would have built a defense, manage the situation. You don't go calling, oh, she's also there. Maybe the woman you're talking to or the man you're talking to at that time is driving. Before you finish giving that news, another person is there. Because when you finish, my heart, you have entered into a ditch. So what? So idiomatic expressions, proverbial expressions. What's the other one? Metaphorical statement. Our president is a lion. We mean that he's King Kebi. When he says no one says that, he's the king of the jungle. It could also mean that he's brave to face this foreign aid force. If you don't want to be misunderstood, though, then you don't want to use metaphorical expressions because it can mean several things to several people. And so someone can pick what you said for his or her own purpose. And you will be found wanting. Suppose an excited husband comes to the hospital to tell the doctor, hey, yeah, my wife is a pig now. Come and see, she's a pig now. And doctor and client are happily laughing. Then the concerned takes a phone and calls the sister, who is a church member, and says, the husband doesn't respect you. This one, there's no like, I want to tell you, but I have to tell you. You are gossiping. Go ahead and gossip. Don't qualify. What's the problem? Come and see how your husband is disrespecting you. He's calling you a pig. You really have to check the way you are dirty at home because he has brought you to the hospital. That could be correct. She's a pig could mean she's dirty. But it could mean she's eating now a lot. And it's good news for uncle. You see, because sister was struggling with her first trimester, first pregnancy. She's not eating, she's growing lean. And so everyone is afraid that she might not be able to hold baby. Then all of a sudden, after some prescription, she's eating very well, very, very well. So it's a glorious news. That's what he meant when he said she's what? A pig. If you get someone who wants to misinterpret that, he or she might read it to mean that she's dirty. What else could it mean? Please, I want other views. If it's not dirty, it could also mean what, please? Let me know. I'll look at your hands now. It could also mean, yeah, let me take a second for. Could also mean what?
Hello, madam. Please can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It could also mean that she's become big, like she become fat because she's eating a lot.
She has become plus size. Okay. It could also mean what? There are more interpretations. Let's take Pamela now. Pamela, please, you're muted. Sorry. Unmute first. Afio Goka. Oh, you go. I've not spoken. I've waited. I think I saw a hand earlier. Afio, go ahead. Let me give you the opportunity. No. Yes. It could mean that she's what? Anybody else? Okay, let's take Pamela. Are you able to now? Pamela Pranche. I want to give others the opportunity. That's why I'm ignoring the hands that are. Timakom. Tim.
Hello, madam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please, the statement can also mean she likes or she snores like a pig when she...
Hey, right. Very true, my brother. It could also mean that she snores. Hey, she's not allowing the man to sleep at home. 1001. She's dirty. She's putting on. She eats everything. If you don't speak, you don't worry. It's just elaborations I'm putting. She eats everything. She's eating. And this might be positive news, people. But why go say she's a pig now? Because it can be misinterpreted by that person who is already looking for your trouble. So if you are doing a public, presentation on behalf of the president, you want to go and give full respect. Because our president, is alive. So this one, someone will go and call the president, say, we have to see this, how do they call them? Special communicator. He's not helping you. Why is he presenting you like some scary person? That can be when you say no one said, usually you have to have a second thought about it. Before long, you have lost your job. We just say our president is brave, if that is what you intend, because it can have different meanings to different people. Can I have one of you read that? And then I think we'll be done. Let me take. Anyone else wants to read? Felicity, are you there? Read for me. I see Abene Chiani, Manuel Owusu, Elvis Owusu, Pamela Crunchy. Shazia's hand has shut up now. Happy about that, etc. etc. Felicity, read for me.
Okay. Examples. My officials are.
I'm sorry, I've stopped sharing. Forgive me. I will share.
Okay.
Okay. Please go on.
It has yet to show up on my screen.
It will show shortly.
Okay, now it's here. Okay. Vagueness. Examples. My officials are monitoring the situation very closely, and I can promise that we shall take all appropriate measures to ensure that the situation is resolved in a way that is fair to all the parties involved. What are appropriate?
Sorry to interrupt, Felicity. You will see that this is common. It's a common phrase. It's almost a cliche. That one, and it's in the pipeline. You always hear people say that. We are going to take all appropriate measures when there's flooding and people's homes. We are going to take all appropriate measures to ensure that the situation is resolved in a fair way that is fair to all parties. The person said nothing. This one is so generic, general. Ask if you are the journalist. Ask, thank you, maybe MC or DC or something. But could you kindly specify exactly what you mean by appropriate measures that you are going to take, and what you mean by being fair to all parties involved? Because we want some resolution to this matter of flooding. Maybe you say today, we are going to ask all those who don't have papers or documentation, valid documentation to build here, to immediately, at once by force, immediate exit. Then 2, we are going to give them compensation where they got documentation, but it wasn't an appropriate documentation. We'll move them immediately to Trazaco. So by 3 days time, when you come here, we won't see any of it. That is better than appropriate measures. Who is determining the appropriateness of a measure? It's vague, indeterminate, not specific, not definite. What is, or who is going to determine what is fair to all the parties? It's already a contest, something that will be subject to contestation. I've seen any moment from now, we have discussed that. We are sorry to say that we are looking for a younger person for the job. For credit, come tomorrow. When you go tomorrow, you go and see tomorrow again. Ad infinitum. Stuff like that are described as vague. I think the point is well made. No equivocation to you. Now I want to stop. Any questions? So when we, it's a hand up, sorry. And is there a question, or you want to, Pamela, do you want to ask a question or you want to read? Miss Pams, your hand is up. Okay, I think it's an error. So we'll continue with what is left. I'll do that in 2 minutes, I think. We are all tired. Now, on my screen again, quickly, we share that the last bit that we want to cover. And I'll just do the presentation on it so that you can have some rest. I think you need it. This is your afternoon. This is your free time that you put the lecture there for you. Okay, this is it. So we have gone through vagueness. What else do I have there? When two people are disputing, verbal versus substantive dispute. This one we've engaged it already indirectly, so I'm just touching on it because we have looked at open textured and well-defined terms. And when there is a disagreement that border on open textured terms, what it will generate a dispute that may not necessarily be verbal, it might be a substantive disagreement. So what is a verbal dispute? From the word verb, language. So when we are disagreeing, and that disagreement is ultimately about how we are using language, not the subject matter, but just how we are speaking. We are saying the same thing, but we are saying it differently. Okay. Inconsistent use of one word. So I'm saying
So,